We are a global network of accountants around the world. Our primary mission is to help accountants and a small number of business advisors help their client have a better life by creating and developing a better business. That's essentially what we do. So our goal really is to help accountants become more relevant insofar as they can and should be providing business advisory services.
Hi, I'm, as you say, I'm Paul Scholes from Atria Associates, based in South London. Small sole practitioner, having been through 30, 40 years of various practices and lots of clients. And now sitting back a bit and taking stock of what's been going on.
I run Emmaus Bristol, which is part of an international network of organisations that help homeless people. But I'm a social entrepreneur. I set things up, and I was involved in setting up Emmaus Bristol along with 5 other charities, which help those who are most disadvantaged in society. So that's what I do.
All accounting practices should have very specific client selection criteria, and I'm not going to go through all of those, but the overriding criteria is that I like anyway is they work with clients in respect of whom they can create significant value. They would be clients who recognize the contribution they make to that process of value creation, and they work with clients in respect of whom they would be willing to share a fair proportion of that value with their advisor. And the reason that I like that definition is that it forces you to look at clients who have growth potential, who are willing to listen, clients who are in an industry that is growing as a robust industry and so on, but also clients who recognize the contribution that their advisors can make. Now, when you have that type of relationship, it usually means that you'll have much less clients, but you'll provide much more value. And as a result of that, and the working of that notion of birds of a feather flock together, you end up building a much more, I like to call it a robust client base. You have a better life, you have more engaged team members, you have much happier clients who are referring you to other people who they can see will benefit from the type of work that you do. And it's just a perfect, kind of a perfect storm in the positive way.
Accountants are very much back in the time when they just recorded time and watched what time they spent, rather than what they did within that time. We dropped, for example, timesheets 5 years ago, and I now have no time pressures whatsoever. If a client needs to speak to me for 20 minutes and it's a valuable conversation, he'll speak to me or she'll speak to me for 20 minutes. Whether anything comes out of that or not, it doesn't sometimes matter because you're keeping the relationship cemented. I will only deal with clients really when I think there's a value to it for them and me. So some clients I'll see many times a year, many times a month. Other clients I'll see very irregularly. But when I do come together with them, I try and make sure that it's a meaningful meeting or conversation.
I like proactive people, people who I think both Paul and Rick have talked about that proactive nature. I think accountants, and there's partly about the training, it's very passive. I mean, I was in accountancy, so I've been an auditor, and I think it's very reactive. It's all you have to have an audit, so they turn up and audit the books. I used to go and audit. What we really need is that relationship, and a relationship is not sending out some missive on an email. You know, the latest news, the latest VAT thing. It's dull, actually. I don't even bother. I just delete them. It's a waste of time. They think they're doing something special, and then there's the, and then there's the sort of meetings. They invite the clients to go to something, and you sit in a room and somebody bangs on in a very boring way about something or other, VAT or tax or some new legislation. It's dull. It's so dull, and I think we haven't got a lot of us haven't got time for that. and a cup of tea and a biscuit at the end is, well, it's all right. But, you know, and actually they don't know how to communicate, a lot of them. They've got no idea. They stand there with a PowerPoint and then they just read the PowerPoint. Well, you could just send me the PowerPoint. I don't need to hear somebody talking about it. Is this ringing some bells? I love that. I mean, I once said to a friend of mine who got his own practice, you know, because I hated timesheets. You know, every 6 minutes you've got to write down how you're going to deal with your client. Actually, if you've got no timesheets, what a freeing up thing that is.
Yeah.
You set your fee. I'm sure you set it at a rate that is profitable, and you've got a much freer day. If from a client's point of view, if all that's going around is the clock, like the taxi meter, you think, actually, this is costing me 6 minutes. Every 6 minutes, this is costing me whatever it is. Then that's, you know, it's a wrong relationship. But if you come to me and have a cup of coffee and say, Richard, actually, you could do something this. What about your stock system? How about this? Have you thought about that? Actually, I mean, our auditors are great, and I'm not going to name them, but they're really great people, and they do know us, and they are interested, and we do get invited to things and stuff like that, but I'm being a bit naughty. But actually, you know, what I'd be really interested in is them phoning up and saying, actually, can we have a chat about this? We've just thought of a new business idea for you. That'd be great, actually, because that's value added.
I mean, just engaging with them and realizing that they're not interested in the latest inland revenue or that legislation and so on. I had to laugh when he was talking about it, because I'm thinking that's one of the reasons why most clients say I'll have black tea, because I know that adding milk is going to take some more time and I'll end up paying. But having said all of that, I really do think if you select the right clients and you have that good relationship and you say to them right up front that this is the way we do it here, then it makes all the difference. I know one of our clients in North London they have a minimum fee of £10,000, and they got to that after realising once that they were servicing 500 clients on an average fee of £1,000. And they decided that there's not much that you could do for £1,000 a year other than just attend to their compliance services. So they said, we don't want to trade off the 500,000, but what we will do is have a minimum fee of £10,000. That will involve a lot more than just doing their accounts, obviously. And every time we bring on board a client who understands what we do and are willing to pay that fee, we will sell or get rid of £10,000 worth of lower clients. So they ended up, it took them several years to do it, but they ended up with a practice of about 50 clients with a minimum fee of £10,000. And the impact that that has had on their firm, on the people who are working with them, on the quality of the referrals, on the quality of their life and the level of interest that they're getting from the work that they're doing, not to mention the impact they're having on those businesses, is nothing short of amazing. And I had the pleasure of actually attending a 21-year celebration. We had a black tie dinner over there, and talking to their clients, I have never seen or been involved with a group of clients of an accounting practice who spoke more highly of their accountant in terms of, these guys have saved my life, they have saved my marriage, they have done so much for me over the years and so on. And they're very protective of their accountants. They won't refer anybody to them. They only refer people who they genuinely believe would benefit from the type of work that they do and the way that they do it. And
when you say adding value, that assumes that what you're doing at the moment is of no value at all. Whereas if what you're doing for clients at the moment is valuable, then the added value bit becomes irrelevant. It went out for me 10 years ago, and that will come as the compliance work and the basic auditing and the basic number crunching gradually disappears and vanishes. The other aspect that I was thinking of as Rick and Richard were talking is that we run our own business and should look to ourselves as to how we run our business. We also get involved with tens or hundreds of other businesses. We have a wealth of experience that we can choose to use for other clients, or we can treat it as something that we don't get involved in. And I think we need to get involved with clients and need to get to know them. And certainly the only way you're going to do that is, as Rick said, is to make a manageable client base. It's pointless dealing with 500 clients if all you're doing is VAT returns and sets of accounts. It's far better to deal with a fifth of those and get far more involved with the client. So it's a balance, and it's also, as I said, learning about your own business as well as theirs, and treating your own business as equally important as the client's business is.
Often it gets left down to me. I advise myself, or I go to other businesses. I tend to meet up with business people. I'm always looking into the markets to see where we ought to do next. And if I need some expertise, I go and find it. I've got a vast range of people who I trust, who I know can bring me the right advice. I think in terms of expense, I'll give you an example. Our lawyers are really good. I've got a very good relationship with our lawyers. We had an HR problem a few years back, and I went to see the partner. He treated me incredibly seriously, and he just took all the pain out of it. And I think that that's what clients want, especially when they've got some difficult situations. They want some of the pain taken out. And actually, as experts, accountants are experts in what they do. And I think that what Paul said about they've got all this experience with other businesses. Actually, you can take pain out of things for clients. And I think for me, that's the biggest value-added service you can reassure.